Alright, welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. I got my water and I'm ready to keep going. So, without further ado, 1124 Fall. Squeaky chair. The master of the house. Soon grandfather leaves. Your elder brother Stephen goes with him. From that day on, father's hired teachers tend to you alone. They bore you with monotonous lectures of writing, counting, and the way of life in the blessed Archean Empire. You often distract yourself from their instruction by playing with your younger brother Nathan. Your home grows quiet without your elder brother. Too quiet. Weeks later, your family receives a letter from Stephen. Grandfather has sent him to a boarding school for nobles, and he is now studying hard in preparation for his service as a nobleman. The rules here are way too strict. You can't even sneeze without the teacher's permission. But I've been studying with my peers. We're learning how to live as nobles in a noble society. We're also learning the art of swordplay. That's my favorite part. With Stephen now at a boarding school, grandfather arrives once more, this time to live in your home. The only good thing is that he often has urgent business in Eterna, the capital of the empire, and has to travel there. One day you ask Mother where he lived before. In Eterna, she says, but now his place is here. Each time grandfather returns, he gives the servants new orders. Your home is now always busy with repairs. The servants are redecorating grandfather's chambers, including his library and sitting room. Sometimes father tries to gently talk him out of this. Why subject the house to constant reconstruction? Grandfather's answers is always the same. This home is mine, and I will live here as befits a man of the nobility. Yes. An illustrious guest. Some days grandfather stays home, and on those days you try your best to stay out of his way. That's probably a good idea. But there is no way you can avoid family breakfast. The food is there, but you cannot bring yourself to eat it. Mother's eyes are red and swollen. She has been crying all night again. Grandfather sits at the head of the table, where nobody used to sit before. Robert, it is high time your youngest sons underwent their sacraments. Sir Brante, please, let them live free of the lot for a while longer. They are but... Shut your mouth. Robert, that wife of yours is impertinent enough to interrupt me. If this ever happens again, she'll be eating her gruel with the servants in the kitchen where she belongs. It is time you considered a real marriage, Robert. One to a woman of the proper station. Gloria drops her fork. Grandfather shoots her a scathing look. A tear rolls down Mother's cheek. Father does not look away from his plate, his hands clenched into fists. Baroness El Lodar is one such woman. She is a comely widow of a fine match. She is suing her for her inheritance right now, and could use proper support from a husband. You can keep your lowborn Lydia around if you like. Servant, mistress, I don't care. I will not do that, father. I am the head of this family, and the family's standing took a severe blow after you married that commoner. It is unthinkable. How could you give up the memory of a beautiful Amalia Elborn for this lowly woman and that bastard child of hers? Oof. Is he talking about me or Gloria? Not me, I hope. But now you have a chance to set things right. Don't disappoint me. Father nods curtly, trying not to look in Mother's direction. Father, I wish to see Stephen. If I find your conduct in the Baroness's presence satisfactory enough, then you may see him. She is coming for a visit tomorrow. Be prepared. Yeah, that's quite forward. Grandfather wipes his mouth with his napkin, throws it onto his plate, and leaves. Mother's lips move silently. Nobody says a word. Then father stands up and orders you and the other children back to your rooms. He needs to speak to mother in private. Father comes to the room before bedtime. He sits on the edge of your bed and adjusts a crease in the woolen blanket. He distanced himself from you after Stephen's departure, so you are not used to such attention from him. In the candlelight, you can see his face in the dark. There's a sour expression on it. My son, Baroness Emma L. Lodar, will be visiting us tomorrow. Please be polite and treat her with respect. Nathan will do as you do. I want this dinner to be as immaculate as possible. Don't let me down. On the next day, Mother starts dressing you and Nathan for the coming dinner. You see red all around her eyes. She has been crying and for a long time. It hurts just to look at her. Nathan starts whining quietly. You and Nathan are dressed in new doublets. Your tousled hair brushed into shape. Gloria is told to stay in her room. Father appears wearing his best suit. Mother is in a humble brown dress, looking pale. Grandfather has an uncharacteristically contented look about him. You hear the sound of wheels and hooves against the cobbles in the yard. Then a pair of dainty heels comes clacking. The antechamber is completely quiet and still. Fearing Grandfather's observant eye, the door opens. You see your guest, a beautiful dark-haired woman in a dress of elegant deep blue. Father takes the hand of Lady El Lodar and kisses it, showering her in compliments. Grandfather's face is beaming in her presence. No one ever even bothers to introduce Mother. Baroness, allow me to introduce you Robert's sons, Angelo and Nathan Brante. Frankly, it's his eldest, Stephen, who deserves the most attention, but currently he is studying in Eterna with other young noblemen like himself. It is my hope that his younger sons will also make me proud one day. Grandfather eyes you with a probing look. How will you act in front of the Baroness? Will you accept her here next to your mother, your father's rightful wife? Okay, let's see. Greet the Baroness politely. Walk away with mother. Maintain your composure. Demand that mother be introduced. So, two of these options gives us negative reputation. Which is kind of rough because we have low reputation. But we have fairly high unity. This grants us 2 + 1s and a -1. Well, I'm sorry, Mom, but I think I'm going to greet the Baroness politely. You approach Baroness El Lodar and kiss her hand, following your follower's example. So it's quite interesting. You follow Father's example and kiss the Baroness's fingers gently. Her laughter fills the antechamber, ringing like chimes. You gallantly... I'm struggling with gallantly. Gallantly offer to lead her to the sitting room. Lady El Lodar graciously agrees. Behind your back, you can hear Mother sobbing. Grandfather and Baroness El Lodar engage in small talk over dinner. She tells him of the woes of litigation over her late husband's inheritance, and he advises her like the judge he is. Father is mostly silent, only getting in a word or two. You do your absolute best to behave yourself. Take a sip of water. After the decorous farewells to Lady El Lodar, Father quietly thanks you for your model behavior. The morning after, he leaves for Eterna with Grandfather to visit Stephen. Mother spends almost an entire day in her bedroom. You cannot bring yourself to speak to her. My bad. Father returns from the capital in a quiet rage. You overhear your parents talking. Apparently, Grandfather has already poisoned Stephen's mind against him, and he greeted Father with cold hostility. The name of Baroness El Lodar is never mentioned in the house again. Okay. We're getting close to the end of childhood. Alright, before that... What is this? Okay, I wanted to click on that, but I guess I won't. I know there's a map around here somewhere, but maybe it comes later. Just click everything. Alright, you just have to take my word for it, there's a map. Maybe I'll figure it out later. Alright, moving on. The kaleidoscope. Father now checks on your studies often and nitpicks you for sitting on, or eating, or speaking in incorrect fashion. Once he becomes so annoyed, he says that he wishes Stephen had been the one to stay home instead of you. You never expected to hear these words from your father, of all people. Grandfather's trip to the capital took longer than expected. It feels lighter around the house without his presence. You allow yourself to a little change of scenery. Instead of your room, you now busy yourself with reading and calculations in the sitting room across from the open door in the yard. Gloria has joined you today. She has already helped you progress through several complex passages in the book. Right now she seems preoccupied with a strange tube. Aren't you hurt by the way Grandfather treats you, you ask? Gloria just shrugs. Grandfather always says they should get rid of me. I'm used to it now. He hurts you a lot worse because you're closer to him. I just have to stay out of his way, that's it. She shows you the strange tube she has been holding all day. Look, it's a kaleidoscope. I got it as a gift. Want to see inside? Why, yes, I would. Excited by the idea, you close the book and peer into the tiny hole on one end of the tube. Your eyes see a multitude of intricate patterns. Each turn of the tube reveals a new web of interwoven colors. They mesmerize you. The kaleidoscope turns the fire burning in the fireplace into cavalry made of flames. You are riding at the front of the fiery horseman, ready to face the enemy. Grandfather's face emerges from the intersecting lines, and you swing the kaleidoscope like a sword, cutting it in half. Now you look at the blue sky through the window. The patterns of unending, secretive, and calm and peaceful. Okay, interesting. Just like Father's smile before Grandfather's invasion. The deep blue gives way to a scattering of gold radiating gentle warmth like mother's arms. This fleeting beauty soon gives way to a hypnotic new pattern. Again and again you see your family in these interconnecting figures as they come together and break apart. And in the middle of the golden glow, you see Gloria's green eyes gazing at you observantly. Your sister left you long ago. The books are abandoned, and time slips away unchecked, but you are still busy peering into the kaleidoscope. Order emerges from the chaos before you, eyes again and again, but you cannot preserve it, no matter how you try. You are caught in an inner conflict. There's so much that can be done with this kaleidoscope. Should you take it apart? Or ask Gloria how it works? Or keep enjoying the patterns it shows you? But you still have lessons to do. Now why on earth would you take the kaleidoscope apart? Both these options have some negative willpower associated with them. I think it'd probably be a good idea to get our willpower up a bit. So let's keep looking through the kaleidoscope. You keep playing with the kaleidoscope as visions of warriors bathed in glory reveal themselves before you. You continue peering into the ever-changing patterns the kaleidoscope offers you. They become truly interesting when you point it at the shining pillar gleaming in the sky. Horses. Cool art there. In your mind's eye, one battle follows another, filling your ears with clanging steel and the neighing of horses. You are leading the Imperial Army now. Everybody is so proud of you. Grandfather says you are better than Stephen. And Father's stern voice cuts your daydreams short. You lost all track of time. It is evening now. How did you get your hands on this toy, Angelo? Why aren't you studying? Give it to me. You will have double the lessons tomorrow. Oh. Why must we suffer constantly? Sweet temptation. Grandfather's visits are no longer a cause for fear and panic in the house. He has become something you are used to. Something nagging, yet not unordinary. Like a splinter or a stain on your trousers. That's a pretty apt description. The tension still remains, however. Sir Gregor's disdain for everyone in the house is so palpable it almost stings for real. Your lessons with the tutor are done for today. You are walking down the stairs when you spot Gloria peeping into the sitting room through a slightly open door. You sneak up on your sister and tap her lightly on the shoulder. She is startled. Oh, it's you, Angelo. Look, Sir Gregor's eating something. Grandfather is sitting on the sofa, flipping through a book with one hand and reaching for a glass bowl with another now and then. Inside the bowl you see candied fruit, a sweet confectionery forbidden to the common estate, like all sweet things. Yet Grandfather's face shows no pleasure as he keeps consuming the high-born treats. The clock strikes 3. Grandfather rises from his seat, puts away the bowl on a shelf, and leaves for the yard. He always takes a walk in the city at this time. Gloria nudges you with her elbow and looks at the candy bowl when you look at her. The first emotion you feel is fear, but next comes curiosity, and it is stronger. Stephen used to boast that candied fruit tastes incredible, and now you have the perfect opportunity to try it. You try a candied fruit first. The sugar starts to melt as soon as you put it on your tongue. It is so sweet. You have never eaten anything as good as this. You take the whole bowl off the shelf and give it to your sister. She takes the fruit and brings it to her mouth, carefully, like a rare treasure. There's a thumping on the stairs, footsteps accompanied by a knocking of the walking stick. You have no idea why, but Grandfather is back. You quickly hide behind the sofa and pull Gloria after you, but she is frozen in place with the bowl in her hands. The door opens. Grandfather's menacing figure advances on Gloria. His hand seizes her arm. You squalid, ungrateful, low-born child. How dare you bite the hand that feeds you? You and your trollop of a mother would be sleeping in a ditch if it weren't for my spineless son. The sweet and pleasant things in life are for the noble estate, not for the likes of you. Did you forget your lot? What a terrible world we live in. His hand swings and hits Gloria on the cheek. My goodness. Child abuse. She falls on the floor right next to where you are hidden. Her fingers glisten with the warm melted sugar that brought you here. Grandfather advances again, his walking stick ready, but then he sees you huddled behind the armchair. Please don't hurt him, Sir Brante. This is all my fault. He tried to stop me. You can already see a bruise on Gloria's cheek. This is only the beginning of her punishment. Gloria was caught red-handed, unlike you. You can still avoid your punishment. What is it then, milksop? Did you try the sugar too? Or are you trying to stop this piece of filth like she says? Well, this would have been a funny option. Mock Grandpa, along with your sister. Unfortunately, we can't do that. So we can lie, or we can tell the truth. Which means we'll get beat. But it's kind of interesting. He gives a +1 if we tell the truth. Even though he doesn't like that we ate the fruit. You tell the truth. You did eat the fruit with your sister. You stand up and tell the truth, even though it takes you an effort to do it. You actually ate a candied fruit, but Gloria only touched it. You hope this will help your sister avoid punishment. You are quickly proven wrong. Grandfather's face is red with rage. He strikes the both of you with his walking stick, blow for blow. He keeps hitting you until he grows tired, and then he leaves you where you are. Soon enough, Mother comes in to find the two of you on the floor, too afraid to move. She shakes her head in disappointment. You are badly hurt and covered in bruises, yet she still forces you to kneel and recite the precepts of the lots, and how important it is to follow them. Then you stand before Father and Grandfather and swear never to take things that do not belong to you again. Okay, I am quickly learning that Papa Brante here is not a very nice man. Not a very nice man at all. The Sacrament. Father and Mother have been focused on Nathan and you since early morning. Instead of breakfast, you are told to say your prayers. With your... yeah, you're gonna need it. You're gonna get beat again. Wash your hands and faces, and get dressed in plain white shirts. Today is the day of your sacrament. Mother, I want to go play in the yard. Nathan. An odd child. No playing today. You and Angelo are big boys now. It is time for the both of you to have first sacrament. No one can live without a lot. I don't want a lot. Neither do I. Be quiet and listen. You were born commoners, so you must accept a low-born lot before the twins. When you grow up, you will get a chance to earn a noble lot. Father and Mother take you to the carriage. Nathan is hungry. He starts whining. Grandfather is the last to get in the carriage. His eyes are on you and your brother, looking for every fault. Soon the carriage is moving along the streets of Anazote. Anazote? Slowly and solemnly, one more turn, and you see the colossal white building marked by two massive pillars. For the first time in your life, you are to enter the Church of the Twin Gods. You enter the gate and walk under the splendorous dome of the church. The church hall is divided into two shelves. They are drastically different from one another. The floor on the other side is rough and jagged and covered in dried brown spots, while the floor on the other is made of smooth marble. The commoners kneel on the jagged floor, and the well-dressed nobles and their families sit on pews. Father and Grandfather leave to sit on one of the nobles' pews. Mother walks to the rough stone on the commoner side and gets down on her knees. You see her wince in pain, for the lowborn estate shall suffer in the house of faith. The church acolytes surround you and lead you to the altar, where you and other children will take your sacrament this day. Before you stands a tall priest dressed in black, with a sword in one hand and a hefty whip in the other. Nathan's whining grows louder. He dislikes this place. He is scared. You remain quiet, but your stomach roils in uneasy anticipation. The first child to take the sacrament is a jaunty little boy from a family of nobles. The priest extends the sword before him and recites the words of his lot. From this day forth he will fight and rule, and pursue the arts, his mind now forever free from the throes of suffering, for he now belongs to the noble lot. The boy proudly touches the flat of the blade with his lips. Nathan is next to receive the sacrament. He suddenly snaps out of his fearful trance and tries to break free, but the acolyte pulls him towards the altar and throws him on the jagged floor of the lowborn side. The sharp edge bites into Nathan's knees as he lands, spraying drops of red all around. Ugh. I don't wanna, Angelo. I don't wanna. Angelo, why do they want to whip me? What did I do? Oh, you were born, Nathan. You try to break free and run to Nathan's side. You want to give him courage and protect him, but the acolyte's grip on you is too firm. You feel utterly helpless. Your little brother has to face the world all by himself. The priest starts reciting the words of the lot as he swings the lash over Nathan's shoulders. From this day forth, Nathan, thou shalt endure and work and suffer. Thou shalt be ardent in thy labor and humble in obedience to thy rulers. And now cometh the first true suffering, for which thou must accept with gratitude. Oh, I assure you, we've suffered before. The lash cracks. It strikes his right shoulder. It strikes his left shoulder. The blows are so powerful that Nathan falls to the floor. The priest tells him to rise. He has received his lot. Nathan gets on his feet and drags himself towards Mother, his knees torn and bloodied, his spirit broken. It is your turn. Your feet will not move. You can barely muster enough strength to walk to the altar. You get down on your knees and feel those sharp stones below, so sharp your clothing cannot protect you. Your skin begins to burn. The acolyte forces your head down, and you feel the lash being drawn above you, ready to strike. The priest's words are for you now. This is thy sacrament. Thou shalt work and endure and suffer. Thou art about to receive the first true suffering by the sacred lash. Dost thou accept thy lot? Okay, you can accept it. Raise your head. Catch the lash. Or we can kiss the sword. Interesting choice here. Much more interesting than the other two that we have. You defy the rite of the sacrament and kiss the priest's sword. Yes. I would like to be a nobleman. Screw you and your whippings. The whip slices through the air, about to strike, but your eyes are transfixed by the blade the priest holds in the other hand. You jump up and away. The lash misses you. You grab the blade with your hands. It cuts into you without mercy. The priest wrenches it away from your bloodied fingers. You look him straight in the eye. I am Angelo of House Brante. The priest freezes in shock. You seize this moment to put the sword closer and kiss the smooth, cold blade. Ah, how cool. You hear cries of outrage among the churchgoers. Mother prostrates herself on the jagged floor, racked with fear. Father remains still, baffled by what you have just done. But grandfather looks at you intently, as though truly seeing you for the first time. There's a semblance of respect in his gaze. That's right, Grandpa, I'm a real boy. You are forced back to the commoner's place on the altar. The acolyte seize you by the arms and legs and keep your face bent closely to the bloody, jagged stones on the floor. The lash strikes your right shoulder, then your left. Then you are told to rise. You are a commoner. No, I kissed the sword. Mother takes your hand and leads you out of the church. Once you are outside, she scolds you for being insubordinate and bringing shame to your family. Nathan holds your hand as you walk. His tearful face is a mixture of confusion and awe as he looks into your eyes. But you do not feel as though you have made a mistake. You did what was right for you. Yeah. Save me from the suffering. Okay. We have taken the first vows and received the commoner's lot. Nobleman's Sacrament. Event has happened. You challenge the sacred order and attempt to seize a noble lot. Alright, 1125. Childhood's End. The mark left on you by the sacrament takes a long, long time to heal. Mother says it is a reminder of your lot, suffering and sufferance, pain and patience. Gloria shows you the mark of the lash on her shoulder one day. It will never disappear. You are a commoner now. This is the lot you were born into. But Father keeps telling you to study hard and you may yet earn a different lot and become a noble of the mantle. You recall the past with warm sadness, when Stephen still lived with you, or when he wrote to you for a time shortly after he left. Now he thinks it beneath him to write to the commoners in the family. Mother didn't lock herself in the bedrooms as often back then. This changed shortly before Nathan was born. Drink some water. But most importantly, you missed the time before the terrifying figure of your grandfather was constantly looming over you. Yeah, I bet we all would. You learned the true power of the lot only after the head of the family's arrival. In Grandfather's eyes, no commoner deserved to be treated with kindness. Is this just him, or is it this way in the entire world? The very thought makes you queasy. You are older now, and what's more, you are an elder brother now. You've learned how to care about someone else, how to teach and protect. Soon you are a small boy no longer. As the days pass, play gradually gives way to laborious study. Now your choices will decide your place in this bizarre and ruthless world of adulthood. Your childhood years are over. Well, it's not like they were particularly good. But we did kind of get the nobleman's plot, maybe? Not really? We tried? Yeah, so here were some potential options. We definitely did the nobleman's sacrament, and we definitely did this one, but we missed, yeah, we missed death, which is probably a good thing, and we missed the fencing lesson. But that's okay. Personality, yes, we are still lowborn. But our perception 5, determination 2, willpower is at 0. 4, 5, 6. And there's Nathan on the book now. He's a sad looking boy, that's for sure. Okay. So, I think I will go ahead and pause it here. And that should be, yeah, that is the end of chapter 1. So, thanks for watching. I'll start up chapter 2 next time. Alright. I love you. Not really. I love you like Grandfather Brante loves Angelo.